Hi, everybody. It's April 29th, 2025, and I guess today I want to talk about grace. Now, grace is like what I like to call currency, like a spiritual currency, and it works in two directions, going and coming, and it goes vertically too. So, the thing with grace is when you give grace, some people will tell you automatically that you'll receive grace back as a reflection of your energy or something like that. But grace is a currency, like I said, and it's like on a market, on a spiritual market, I guess you could say. So sometimes you may give out all the grace you can to your limits, and then you will be starving spiritually for a significant amount of time, and you wonder why, because you gave it your all. You gave your patience, your kindness, your holistic altruism. You gave it all, and you still don't get it back, or you still don't. You still feel like you don't get it from God. You don't get it from your friends or your family or nobody, and you wonder why. And all I can say is that's just part of conditioning. That's just part of the flow of life. Because once you continue to give, even though you feel like you don't receive, you're building a portfolio in your spiritual life, and that reflects upon the state of your maturity, spiritually speaking. So when that grace eventually comes down to you, or back to you, or both, then you will have perspective. You will have the wisdom to see that life isn't controlled solely by your actions and by your intentions. Life is greater than that. There's a greater story. A lot of people tell you that you want that you could be your own God, that you should worship yourself. But we all know that we're flawed. We're flawed people. And that doesn't mean we're not great. It doesn't mean that we're not perfect in some sense. But to worship ourselves and put all of that responsibility on tuning your emotions and your heart and your mind when you don't even understand life at that level, it just doesn't make sense. So with grace, you learn that yes, you are rich in spirit. You are rich with gifts. You are rich with health and opportunities, but you are also poor in a level of attaining things by will. You need to learn that you rely on the heavenly beings, which are the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And those are what we need to survive, what we need to grow, what we need to receive grace and healing in our lives. So just because you give, even though you give honestly, even though you give without expecting anything in return, sometimes it doesn't come back to you right away. Sometimes it doesn't come back to you tenfold or a hundredfold. That's the nature of life. There's a greater value other than receiving what you want. There's a greater value other than having success in an outward way. It's gaining wisdom and perspective. So the currency of grace is much deeper than you controlling your outcome by attuning your feelings and your thoughts. It's much more fun. It's much more deep. So I hope that helps. Have a good one.